Hey everybody, and welcome back to Michael's Matters. And as per usual, I am Michael, and today I wanted to do an update for folks who are on Social Security program that could explain why some folks on SSI, for example, will be getting double payments in this coming next month, so that is September, rather than just one, as well as some potential legislation that could permanently put more money into the pockets of seniors and retirees and folks who are disabled. In fact, $2,400 more a year if it passes, as well as changes that'll make it easier for disabled Americans with specific diseases to get Social Security disability benefits faster. Now, right now, it is definitely going to be that time of the year when things are starting to heat up for people on Social Security retirement, Social Security disability, so that's SSDI, Supplemental Security Income, that's SSI, and other government retirement benefits as we start to round the bend on the end of the year. And you know what? From the initial looks of it, it looks like things could maybe potentially start looking a little better for the year 2023. Now, before we get to it though, if you like these videos, if you find them interesting, if you find them helpful, if you at least find them useful, please don't forget to like and subscribe. That way you can get updates when my newest and most informative videos get put up. All right, now let's get down to it. So the first thing I want to talk about today is a quirk in the Supplemental Security Income system that is going to mean that people who are getting Supplemental Security, so that's SSI, will actually receive a double payment in the month of September, so that is next month. This means that if they're getting the maximum of $841 a month in 2022, then for September, they're actually going to get $1,682, so 842 times 2. Some people are actually calling this a bonus or some sort of extra amount, but in reality, it's not. Unlike Social Security retirement, which pays out people's retirement checks based off the day that they were born, so for example, if they were born from the 1st to the 10th month, they actually get their check on the 2nd Wednesday of the month, and then if they were born on the 11th through the 20th, then they get it on the 2nd Wednesday, and then the 21st through the 31st, they get it on the 4th Wednesday of the month. So it adjusts when they get their payment based off the date that they're born. But for SSI, they only pay out benefits on the 1st of the month. Now, this strategy, it normally works pretty well for most months, but in this coming October, it'll be one of the few months where the first falls on a weekend, which means that the banks are closed. It also means that if the money would be deposited, folks who rely on these payments would have to wait extra time to get their benefits. This also happened in April and will also happen in December of this year. It's just that the Social Security Administration would rather have the money paid out early on September 30th so folks have access to it instead of having folks wait for their benefits to actually get paid on the 1st and then come out either on the 2nd or the 3rd or even knows how long depending on which bank they have. Now, it is super duper important for folks who are receiving SSI to not think of this money as extra money or an extra payment or a bonus and go out and spend it, because the reality is it's just payment for October. So they're not going to get any additional payments in October if they spend that one in September. So it's just because of the way the numbers fall out. Okay, next I want to talk about a bill that I am very hopeful about that would increase the benefits that seniors and retired Americans and folks on disability would be able to get through their Social Security benefits, just like that. This is a bill that has come around in a couple iterations over the last year or two that was put forth in its current form by Representative Peter DeFazio, a Democrat out of Oregon, and a U.S. Senator, Bernie Sanders from Vermont, called the Social Security Expansion Act. It's backed by a whole boatload of various organizations, people like the AFL-CIO, the Alliance for Retired Americans, the Center for Medicare Advocacy, and many, many, many more, most of which are left-leaning. The key points of the bill are, first, that it would automatically bump up everybody's Social Security benefits by $200. So no matter how much somebody is getting at the moment, it would add $200 on top of that, which is vastly different from the COLA, which only adds a percentage. Second, it would do something that I have been talking about for years as being necessary, which is to change the foundation of how the COLA, that's the cost of living adjustment, actually is done. So it changes the measurement from the CPIW to the new metric called the CPIE, or CPI for the elderly, which takes into a better account the everyday costs that seniors have, instead of the current CPIW, which does not. Furthermore, the bill will try to increase the solvency of the Social Security pension program by merging the Disability Insurance Trust Fund with the Old Age and Survivors Trust Fund to have a greater lump sum of cash to support the program. And then finally, and probably most vitally, it is going to require the millionaires and the billionaires, actually, wait, let me say, the millionaires and the billionaires to pay their fair share into Social Security by requiring the wealthy to pay 12.4% of all of their income into the trust fund, rather than just the income they receive on their paychecks. So It's got a lot of really lofty goals that could mean a lot more sustainable and comfortable future for the already 64 million Americans who are receiving some sort of Social Security benefits right now, and the millions more who are going to be receiving it in the not-so-distant future. Currently, the bill is still sitting in the Senate Finance Committee, waiting to be reviewed for its financial and tax implications, so it's kind of in the early stages, but ultimately, this bill is quite optimistic about the chances of getting such a big undertaking done before the midterm elections. Also, more importantly, if it is signed and if it comes through, I hope it does, because there is definitely a need for a systemic change in order to bring additional resources to the many struggling seniors in our community and in our country and our neighbors who are not having their needs met by the current Social Security benefits program. So we're just going to have to keep our fingers crossed on that one and see how it goes moving forward. All right, so the last thing I want to talk about today is a more technical change to Social Security that would allow additional people to get access to SSDI benefits, so disability benefits, prior to the age of 60 years old. Now, they can do this right now if they end up having some specific life-threatening diseases that are life-threatening and debilitating, and this is known as compassionate allowance. And just this month, Social Security has added 12 new health conditions that would allow people with these conditions to gain access to SSDI payments. And of course, I'll put a list of the new conditions that are added to the list because I don't think I'll be able to mumble through them all because they're all in kind of technical medical speak. But with this new added conditions, this brings the total number of SSDI qualifying conditions for compassionate allowance to a totality of 266 conditions. Even right now, prior to 12 being added, there are already 800,000 people nationwide who have been approved for the accelerated disability process through the compassionate allowance protocols. Now, that's, of course, going to be according to Social Security. This change, although it is definitely going to fly under the radar for most people, probably no one's really going to notice it. It's going to help a lot of those families who are currently struggling with a family member who is disabled to gain access to those additional funds and resources that they desperately need and previously would have taken much longer to get. So I think this is a really good change. So overall, when we think about the Social Security program as a whole, so often it seems like it's just one big monolithic organization that is resistant to change and frankly can't get their finances in order. And although to some extent, well, that is true, there is still so many things that can be done to improve the lives for average Americans who are beneficiaries of the SSA program. So whether that's Social Security retirement, Social Security disability, SSDI, Supplemental Security Income, SSI, or other benefits, any improvement is really going to help. This is especially true right now when inflation is affecting all of us, but it is truly hurting those folks with low income or who are on fixed incomes. I mean, even with the COLA from last year at 6% increase, we already see inflation right now at 8 to 9%, and that's probably what's going to end up by the end of the year. So that means with that 6% increase, retirees and seniors and people on disability, they're losing purchasing power by 4%, 3%, depending on where it lands. So their money is literally decreasing in value because of the inequities of the system. Now, my hope is that this new revised Social Security Expansion Act, well, it passes, and at some point in this year, it goes through because it'll do a world of good to help put folks back on track to live out their lives and live out their retirements and live out their golden years with dignity. We'll just have to keep our fingers crossed, though, and hope that our leaders in Congress can actually get it done. And it's starting to look more optimistic. We're starting to see other things get done soon, but of course, we'll still have to see. It is going to be a midterm election year. Now, that's it for Michael's Matters, and I want to say, first of all, last of all, thank you to all of you who have made it this far in the video. And you know what? If you like these videos, if you find them interesting, if you find them helpful, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And also hit that little notification button so you can get updates when my newest and most informative videos get put up. All right, so that's it for me and for Michael's Matters, and I'm Michael, hoping that you take care of yourself, take care of others, and have a happy, healthy